District Director Japheth Musau, DTM, Program Quality Director Robert Ndwati Karanja, DTM, Club Growth Director Jenny Mule, DTM, fellow division directors, area directors, Toastmasters, and guests. Marianne Williamson, in her book, A Return to Love, says, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure." Do you agree? Welcome to the District 114 Division D Conference 2024, dubbed The Power Within. I am the Division D Director, Kevin Rubia. I hope that this conference will leave you informed and inspired at the end. To take us through the first segment is Toastmaster Ken Agutu, our Master of Ceremonies. Ken is the immediate past president of Kisumu Toastmasters Club, the program quality director of Division A, and the second runner-up in the international speech category of the Toastmasters East African Conference 2022-2023. He is a management consultant, a leadership coach, and an executive facilitator. An introduction of Ken would not be complete without saying that he possesses a profound passion for tea and a wealth of knowledge spanning its history, cultivation, and cultural significance. Over to you, Master of Ceremonies, Ken Agutu, to take over the session.
Good morning, Division D and our guests this morning. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. And this session is going to begin with an icebreaker. Many of you will know that I love icebreakers, and they're always about words. This is a very common one that I use, but even those who have attempted will find that this is very different. I will explain what we're going to do. And I'm going to show a set of slides. These slides, as you will be able to see from my screen, depict some idioms or sayings or words in English. And all I want you to do, we will not have time for us to write on the chart and what, but we will have a mix of writing on the chart and just shouting it out if you know the answer. You will see from the one on my screen now, and if you can see my screen, there's H, there's and, there's ball, which means handball. That's just an example. Another example that you can see on my screen now should be, you can see asleep and it's slanting down. That means fall asleep. So if you get the groove, let's get started. Anybody say that? You can shout it out. Let's pretend we're in the marketplace.
Catch 22 together.
Catch 22, catch 22, catch 22. Whoever said catch 22 got it right. Let's see if you can see that one. Come on. It's only 8:30 in the morning or 9 o'clock in the morning.
Cut and paste.
Cut and paste. I think the division director has rigged. He's got a way of hacking my systems, and he must have seen that. Cut and paste. I hope we now get the groove of it, the rest of us.
Super glue.
Super glue. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Super glue. You can see Superman's gown and the glue. And what about that? If you've been reading widely.
Witchcraft.
Exactly. I now know who reads Harry Potter. I now know who reads Harry Potter. Let's see that. If you can get that, you can have a cup of white tea on me.
Nip over.
No, thank you. No, try again.
Sleeping pill.
Sleeping pills. Excellent, excellent, excellent. You should have a cup of tea on me. Next. That's very easy.
Strawberry.
Yes, strawberry, strawberry, strawberry. Aha. Let's see if you can find that. That's very, very easy. That should be easy, easy.
Poison arrow.
Yes, poison arrow. Aha. Wow, you guys are having a good day out. Looks like Saturday morning is the best time to have quizzes. Come on.
Hot pot.
No, no.
Eyelid.
Try again. What did you say?
Eyelid.
Yes, eyelid. You can see the eye and the lid. Wow. Now let's try this. We are coming towards the end of this. So if you haven't got any, please just try this one. It's very easy.
Rock climbing.
Rock climbing. Yeah. This one I have to drop.
Hot
Hot potato.
potato.
Yes, you have to drop it like a hot potato. Hey, okay, I think I got very easy ones this time.
Nailed it.
Exactly, you nailed it. Yeah, you just nailed it. You got it right. Thank you. And what about that?
Toast.
Not quite, almost there, but there's something missing.
Raise the toast.
Yes, so it's raise the toast or a toast. Because if you just say toast, no. So it's something I thought that the division director would have done. Maybe we can have it at the end, and it's about raising a toast. I want to see who's read their geography and who knows their history.
Flushing toilet?
No. Can I give you a hint? I mean, if you read your history and if you know something about Napoleon Bonaparte or listen to ABBA, you'll be able to know this.
Waterloo.
Waterloo, excellent. Well done, well done, well done, well done. Waterloo. One night at Waterloo, Napoleon did surrender.
Someone.
No.
Is on one.
No.
SI.
No. Come on. It's getting late. Hint, 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 hint. It's a bird.
Swan?
Yes, swan. Yes. Swan. All right.
Brush your teeth.
Toothbrush.
Brushing your teeth or toothbrush. That's very good. Something that many of us don't do when we are on online meetings because we don't feel like we need to. And what about that?
Okay.
Sunbathe.
Yes, sunbathe. And for those in Mombasa, Kisumu, I'm sure you're going to be enjoying that today. And as we come towards the end, a few easy ones that you've seen before.
Musical chairs.
Musical chairs.
Jonathan.
Yes, Jonathan. We have 3 more.
Peak performance.
Yes, wow, peak performance, good.
Suez Canal.
No.
Root canal.
No, root canal, exactly. Root canal, thank you very much. And as we go to the last one.
Nana fish.
No.
Grandma fish.
No.
Tuna.
Yes, tuna fish.
Tuna fish.
All right, okay. We have a minute to the end of this, so let me just give a bonus one.
Don't underestimate me.
Yes, do not underestimate me. So thank you very much, everybody. I'm sure we all enjoyed that. And if you're not able to get anything out of that, then it's not too late to start improving on those skills, because we're going to be having lots of these this year. Right now, it is my honor and my pleasure as the Master of Ceremonies for this evening to introduce our contest chair. Our contest chair this morning is Maggie Waidiru. Maggie is a passionate nutrition coach dedicated to enhancing people's health spans to fill their lifespans. Did you get that? She enhances people's health spans to fill their lifespans. Hailing from a rural background, she finds joy in being a mother of 3, including a boy and twin girls, and harbors a love for animals, particularly her dog, Phoebe. She holds a disdain for birds and hyenas, such beautiful animals. I'm shocked, due to their perceived untrustworthiness perceptions. As a Toastmaster since 2016, Maggie has actively contributed to various clubs, starting as the Sergeant at Arms in Kwanzaa, then serving as the Vice President in charge of membership at Den Fun Tigers in South Africa. Despite geographical challenges, she continued her Toastmasters journey at Mtandao, holding positions such as the Secretary, Vice President of Membership, and eventually the President. Maggie's dedication to both health and leadership underscores her commitment to personal and community growth. So please join me in welcoming Maggie Waidiru.
Thank you, Ken. When you hear yourself introduced, do you sometimes wonder, wow, you mean that's all me? And yet we are the ones who give that information to the Masters of Ceremony, but sometimes we forget to celebrate ourselves. I therefore welcome each one of you, wherever you are, to celebrate yourself. Yes, give yourself a clap, because wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you have achieved something. People may not see it, but at least you must be the first one to celebrate yourself. I am this morning's first session contest chair. And my joy is to listen to all the speeches that are going to be presented today, not only the morning session, but later. As you can see from the agenda, which has been shared in the chat box, if you haven't seen it, please look again, or maybe the SAA is going to share it again. You will see that the program is divided into 2. We have the morning session and the later session. This first session will cover 2 contests, the evaluations contest and the humorous speech contest. If you have not woken up on the right side of the bed, hopefully by the end of the 2 sessions, you will feel a little bit happier and more energetic. All right, when you see me looking this way, I'm looking at my notes to make sure I don't miss anything. For the evaluations contest, we have 3 contestants. We have checked that they have met the eligibility requirements, they have filled the forms, and we have received them and checked that indeed they are eligible. We did run a speaking order, random speaking order on Thursday, and I will share the speaking order later. However, you can also see it in the chat box in the agenda. But to start our event, we would need to know, what are the requirements? What are the judges looking for? That's not my role. That is the role of our Chief Judge, Stephen Minor, who will walk us through that. But before he does that, I will welcome the SAA to share the online speech statement, as well as naming protocol and everything else that we require as guidelines for an online session. Over to you, SAA.
Good morning and welcome to Division D Conference, virtual conference. By attending this remote division conference, you agree to the privacy policy of Toastmasters International, as well as the unassociated remote hosting service. Some of your personal information, such as name, image, and any shared messages may be shared with other meeting participants and will be recorded by Toastmasters International, who may use the recording feature as it sees fit. Your remote attendance hereby discharges Toastmasters International from all claims, demands, rights, promises, damages, and liabilities arising out of or in connection with the use of the distribution of the said video recordings, including but not limited to any claims for invasion of privacy, appropriation of likeness, or defamation. The renaming convention, kindly rename yourselves accordingly. For our evaluation contestants, your speaking order number _ your name. For the humorous contestants, your speaking order number _ your name as it is seen on the screen. For the contest chair, CC _ your name. Chief Judge, CJ _ your name. For the voting judges, kindly have your order number, and that's it. For the ballot counters, your ballot counter number _ your name. For the timers, I've seen that has already been well taken care of. Thank you. The online speech contest guidelines, please rename yourself appropriately as per the convention. Ensure that your audio and video remain off unless you are called upon to speak. Chats will be disabled at the start of each contest and enabled at their end. Please refrain from using reaction buttons and emojis and use them only when requested. They could distract contestants and judges. There will be no admission into the virtual room when a contestant is on stage. So in case you leave, you might need to stay in the waiting room until the contestant is done. Finally, enjoy the contest. Back to you, contest chair.
Thank you, SAA. Ladies and gentlemen, I know each one of you came here either supporting somebody or you're leaning towards somebody that you wish can emerge the winner. As the Chief Judge gives us a briefing of what we should expect from the contestants or what the contestants should be looking out for, you can use the time to share a message of encouragement. It doesn't have to go to a specific person, just to say a word of encouragement in the chat box to give our contestants some energy and some courage to take on the contest. I now welcome the Chief Judge, Stephen Maina, to lead us to the next session.
Thank you, Contest Chair Maggie. For a minute there, I was wondering whether internet has decided to do its thing. As your Chief Judge, I'll have the envious position of knowing beforehand who will be crowned as the winner for this contest. Just to start us off, I want to share with you that we have today 7 judges who have been all briefed on their role. In addition, we have a tiebreaker judge on standby. For those who have been with us from the club level all the way to the area, you will note we have added 2 extra judges to make sure that we have selected the best out of the best in this division contest. I can confirm that all our judges are in good standing and that they have all signed the judges' certification of eligibility and ethics form. For the evaluation contest, The judges will be looking at 4 key areas carrying 100 points. The first one is analytical quality. It should be clear and focused, and this will be allocated 40 points. The second one carrying 30 points is recommendation. They should be positive, specific, and helpful. The penultimate area will be on technique carrying 15 points, and this is how the candidate was sympathetic, sensitive, and motivational. Last but not least is the summation carrying 15 points. It should be concise and encouraging. I'll ask our timer one, DTM Maximila Kitani, to explain the timing for the first section of this contest, which is the evaluation contest. Over to you, Toastmaster DTM Maximila.
Thank you so much, our Chief Judge Stephen, and good morning to everyone. I will be timing the test speaker as well as the evaluation contest. And for the test speech, the speaker has 5 to 7 minutes. At 5 minutes, I will raise the green card. My background will change like so. And at 6 minutes, I will raise the yellow card. And finally, at 7 minutes, I will raise the red card. For the evaluation contestants, you have 2 to 3 minutes to do your evaluations. And at 2 minutes, I will raise the green card. At 2 minutes and 30 seconds, I will raise the yellow card. And finally, at 3 minutes, I will raise the red card. Thank you, and back to you, our Chief Judge.
Thank you, Toastmaster Maximila, DTM. I want to share that in any contest, there could be protests that can be raised. So I'll cover the rules governing the protests that are allowed in Toastmasters speech contests. Number one, it can only be raised to the contest chair or the chief judge by a contestant or a voting judge. Number two, the protest can only be raised before the winners are announced. Number three, the protest can only be within 3 key areas: eligibility, reference, or originality. Last but not least, the judge's decision are final. As we continue to execute today's session, our requests are 1 minute of silence after each contestant so that the judges can ballot. With that, I hand over back to our amazing and energetic contest chair, Maggie Waithira.
Thank you, Chief Judge, for that clear briefing. Based on the random name picker for the speech evaluations, we have the speaking order reading like this. Our first presenter will be Grace Waithira. Our second presenter will be Patricia Nyokabi, and the third presenter will be Anthony Wangondo. At the beginning of the evaluation contest, there is a 5 to 7 speech, which is presented by a test speaker, known only to me. After the presentation, the SAA is going to send all the contestants to a breakout room where they will be for 5 minutes, accompanied by another SAA, a sergeant at arms. After the 5 minutes, the first contestant will come back to the main room and give her presentation. She can stay in the room once she's done, or she can opt to leave. It's up to her, but she can stay in the main room and listen to the other presentation, and the rest continues. As in, after the second presentation, the second presenter can also stay in the room. 1 minute of silence, as you've heard from the Chief Judge, will be observed after each presentation. You will be kept on mute. Please keep your videos off unless you're asked to turn it on, just to ensure that the presenters are not distracted. SAAs Kindly do not let any audience members into the main room during the presentations to avoid any disruption. However, during the minute of silence, then you can let people into the main room. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I will now like to introduce our test speaker, who I will ask to turn on her video. Thank you, Andrea. Our
Madam
test,
Contest Chair, can you hear me?
loud and clear.
Just getting my, okay, cool.
Great stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, I will now like to introduce our speaker, Andrea Venter. Andrea Venter, please say, I got the power to test your mic. I got the power.
I got the power.
Super, loud and clear. Andrea Venter, courage, courage, Andrea Venter.
Shut your eyes. Yes, I said, shut your eyes. Put your head down on your desk and imagine as I tell you my story. Eyes shut. Good. Congo, 1967. Imagine you are crippled with polio, semi-paralyzed on the left-hand side of your body, forced to shuffle your way through life. 7 months pregnant. You're standing in a dusty courtyard. Armed militants all over the place, pointing AK-47s and shouting, down on your knees, hands behind your head. Slowly, you go down on your knees. The leader points his gun at you and says, no, not you. You. Stay. You stop. You. You watch. And so, helplessly, you watch. The man in front of you, your husband, the father of your unborn baby, falls lifelessly to the ground, a gaping hole in the back of his head. The shock cramps your wound. There is movement you know should not be there. Suddenly, water gushes down your legs. And you know that you have gone into premature labor in an hostile environment. Marion, my mother, finally, after 13 years of trying, gave birth to a baby girl. Me, she was overjoyed to celebrate life in chaos. In spite of the trauma and loss of her beloved husband, she knew she had to fight for survival for this baby child that she carried, this birth, this miracle after 13 years. Her fight for survival kicked in. Marion, my mother, with her newborn babe, me, shuffled from Elizabethville to Kasumbalesa, approximately 70 kilometers, through malaria-infested jungle, with thousands and thousands of refugees escaping a liberation struggle. The humanity of Marion's fellow refugees, helping her to carry this swaddled child, me, protected against mosquitoes, through the sweltering weather and the jungle, carrying this baby, wet nursing her child to safety. When my mother recounted her very first tumultuous journey with me, the words of Mary Ann Radmacher sprung to mind. Mary Ann Radmacher is an author and a lawyer an author and an artist. The words were, courage doesn't always roar. Courage is that quiet voice at the end of the day that says, I will try again tomorrow. You can open your eyes. This was not the first time my mother had to dig deep into her soul for courage to face her future. Let's go back in history. Cape Town News headlines, January 1945. Cape Argus headlines. Unknown girl child battered to within an inch of her life in automobile boot. That's right. Marion, my mother, was 12 years old when her brother, her guardian, her champion, a World War II veteran, bludgeoned her to within an inch of her life with a car tire iron, shoved her in the boot of his car, and left her to die. She was found by 2 passerbys and rushed to hospital. It took my mother 3 years to learn to walk and talk and move properly again. She had to dig deep for courage to face tomorrow. And again, when she told me her youngster stories, those words from Mary Ann Radmacher, courage doesn't always roar. Courage is that quiet voice at the end of the day that says, I'll try again tomorrow. My mother celebrated her 18th birthday by learning to dance once she was able to walk again. When life throws me lemons, and it has in the past, I lost my husband, I had breast cancer, my business partner was murdered, and I had to liquidate my business. My mother's example and those words resonate. Courage doesn't always roar. Courage is that quiet voice at the end of the day that says, I will try again tomorrow. My mother lived to the ripe old age of 82, shuffling through life. Not from polio, as I had been told, but from the wounds and the head injuries, the brain trauma that she suffered as a teen. Though my mother had this head injury, she was not mentally handicapped. But the brain injury had affected certain parts of her brain, and she lived her life with only 1/3 of her brain functioning. This trauma at the age of 12 had affected her emotional cortex, her body movements, and her psychological amnesia that she suffered from. Every day, Marion lived her life to the best of her ability, getting married again, being involved in charity, moving countries and traveling, but most importantly, bringing up her daughter, me, and refusing to give in to the setbacks of her life. Marion's version of courage is not the courage that roars. Marion's courage is that quiet voice that says, I will try again tomorrow. Will you? Contest chair.
Thank you. 1 minute of silence, 5 minutes for the contestants to go to the main room. Kindly do let me know when that is done.
I confirm that the contestants, Anese and Ataima, are in a breakout room, 3 contestants.
Thank you very much. Andrea, please turn on your video. Ladies and gentlemen, please share your emoji reaction for that wonderful speech from Andrea. I know it spoke to everybody. Please do share your emoji reaction buttons. Let us celebrate the courage that Andrea has taken to share such a deep and emotional story. I was trying very hard not to cry. Even if I'm not wearing makeup, I did not want to show up with red eyes. Thank you, Andrea, for that wonderful, almost actually gut-wrenching speech. Wow.
My mother's story inspired me to be brave when life was challenging.
Marion. Wow. I wonder what the name Marion means. It perhaps means courage. Who knows? Do you know?
I actually never took the time to look it up, but actually now that you've said that, I think I will. But every day, her little actions inspired courage. From challenging herself to doing daily exercises to keep herself supple, to moving to just trying to be normal.
Wow. Thank you. And lest I forget, I will ask our SAA to share the certificate of participation. SAA, kindly let's share the certificate of participation as we say thank you once again to Andrea and we get to know her a little bit more while waiting for the contestants.
Please have the interview and let's have it at the end kindly. Thank you.
Sure, I best not forget. Andrea, I first met you in South Africa when I was in the Infant Tigers, and I think you were in Diamonds Toastmasters.
Correct.
And now when I listen to your speech, I understand what drove you. I can feel that energy and the courage, because some days were very challenging in the Infant, but you just kept firing up. Now I see where you got that drive from.
I can only give credit to the upbringing my mother gave me and the fact that I'm a child of Africa. I was born in the Congo. I've lived in 9 African countries, and Africa is not for sissies. You know this. And
No.
therefore, it takes courage to face every day. It doesn't matter your circumstances. Whether you are born in a dusty town on the street corner, whether you live in a informal settlement, whether you live in a mansion, every day takes courage, because life is not selective about the challenges it throws you. So yeah, it's
Okay. And even as we talk about courage, yes, in Africa, you just need to be courageous every day. But what
Correct.
scares you, and how do you, because everybody has something that scares them. Some people join Toastmasters because they're scared of public speaking. But what for you is the one thing that you go like, but I still gotta do this?
Before I joined Toastmasters, I would say that failure scared me the most because I'm very driven. And with being in Toastmasters, I've learned there is no such thing as failure. There's always this first attempt in learning. And Toastmasters gives you that opportunity to practice, to attempt, to grow forward and move into every day, do a better version of yourself. And I think it comes back to some of my life lessons along the way, having been in Scouts and now in Toastmasters. In Scouts, I taught the boy cubs, do your best. Do your best today, tomorrow, the next day, every day, do your best, and every day you'll grow a little bit better. But then in adulthood, we forget those lessons. And coming into Toastmasters has reaffirmed those lessons. Do your best and you will improve. And that fear of failure has receded into the background because I focus more on the positive now about moving forward. What does give me, drive me to courage? I have to make sure that I'm always the best version of myself, because I never know whose life I'm impacting. And I would hate to disappoint people around me.
Wow. Wow, thank you. I will remember that next time. I'm always full of business ideas, and I'm always full of reasons why not to do them. And of course, it all boils down to fear of failure. I must remember that. And you actually did say something in your speech that courage is that small voice that says, I'll try again tomorrow.
Correct.
Thank you for that reminder. We have your certificate ready now, just in case Miss Maggie over here forgets.
Perfect.
Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much for that wonderful, wonderful speech. Is the
Thank you, Maggie, for the
last E,
opportunity.
is that correct? And the E is that the accent is in the right letter, right?
Correct.
Great
It's
stuff.
100% perfect. Thank you.
Excellent. All right. Thank you very much. Celebrating life in chaos, and that's how your life started in chaos. In chaos.
Yeah.
What would you tell somebody who I did work for a very long time? Most of my work
Contest chair, 5 minutes are over in the breakout room.
stuff. Great stuff. Thank you. I will talk to you again later, Andrea. Thank you once
Thanks,
again.
Maggie.
Thank you. All right, please bring in the first contestant. There you are, Grace. Contestant 1, Grace Waithera. Kindly confirm you have pinned the timekeeper.
Yes, I have.
Great stuff. Are you in your speaking position?
Yes, I am.
Great stuff. To even power you up more, just say, I got the power as you test your mic.
I got the power.
Great. Contestant 1, Grace Waithera. Grace Waithera.
Speech is power. Speech is to persuade, to convert, and to compel. Those are the words of Ralph Waldo. And the words of Andrea this morning have persuaded, converted, and compelled us. She managed to weave a beautiful tapestry of captivating stories, each thread carefully selected to evoke our emotions throughout her speech. I will begin my evaluation of Toastmaster Andrea with what she did well and go to the Herculean task of finding areas of improvement. Toastmaster Andrea this morning managed to have a beautiful structure of her speech. The introduction of her speech, captivating, telling us to shut our eyes and bow down on our desks. That sure got your attention. Then she built her message with captivating stories and concluded with a powerful message for courage. Her voice was powerful. The modulation of her voice captured our imagination. She told us, you have gone into premature labor, burgeoned her to an inch of death, ripe old age of 82. She used her voice beautifully to pass and emphasize each message that she gave us this morning. What about the audience engagement? Telling us to shut our eyes, then at the conclusion of her story, telling us to open our eyes. But what she did most beautifully was giving us these gut-wrenching stories. Stories about her mother, seeing the life pass out of her, the father of her children. She gave us messages that are memorable, and I can ascertain you that 1 month from now, you will remember what Andrea told us this morning. Now, on to the Herculean task of finding areas of improvement. First, I thought that the video positioning of Toastmaster Andrea would have done with a little more work. You know what they say about body language? It is 70% of your communication. So I would encourage you to ensure that we can see your hand gestures. You danced, we'd have loved to see you dancing and swaying. You also stepped on to the stage and we would have hoped to see more of that. Then I also noticed that your attention was grabbed by a gadget at the side of your screen, and our attention went to the gadget with you. Maybe next time, ensure that those gadgets are switched off and that your attention is on us. So what do I think Toastmaster Andrea did well this morning? First, her captivating introduction. Second, her powerful voice, modulated carefully. And lastly, her gut-wrenching stories that we'll remember many days from now. That was a well-articulated speech. It was Pastor Andrea. Congratulations. Back to you, Madam Contest Chair.
Thank you. 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballots. Please alert me when it's over.
Contest Chair, 1 minute is over.
Gracias. Contestant 2, Patricia Nyokabi, kindly unmute your mic. Confirm you have pinned the timekeeper.
Yes, I have.
Great stuff. Is that your speaking position, Patricia?
Yes, it is.
Great. To test your mic, please say, I got the power.
I got the power.
Contestant 2, Patricia Nyokabi. Patricia Nyokabi.
Courage doesn't always have to roar. It is that still voice inside of you at the end of the day that says you can always try tomorrow. I loved Andrea's speech, filled with so much plot that we could follow through. I loved, for instance, how she started off by saying, we close our eyes and put our heads on the table. I literally found myself doing this. And then she went ahead and told us to open our eyes that now we're back in reality. Kudos to you, Andrea. Team, I would like us to borrow this strength as one of the first strengths. The second strength is the flow, the chronology, the flowing of the story. She began with 1966 Congo War and how devastating it was, and how the flow went on to telling us how the mother had waited for 13 years to bear a child, and here the child came prematurely, up to when the mother was 12 years old and suffered all kinds of trauma that she underwent. The third thing that I would like to commend Andrea on is the gestures that she used. When she said this lady was suffering from polio on the left-hand side, we saw her limping and resonating with her. However, this is something I would like for us to try and improve on our next speeches. I'll mention two things. The first thing is we would love to see Andrea bringing us up to speed on how herself, she took up courage to try tomorrow by going through the loss of her husband, battling cancer, and even losing a business partner and ending up to shut down business. Andrea, you will have improved this by telling us how exactly did you take up the courage to try again tomorrow? Did you start another business? How did you maneuver through cancer? And how did you maneuver now life as a widow? We will have loved to see that. The second thing that I would have loved Andrea to demonstrate to us in the gestures is when her mother was in the forest, witnessing her as a young baby in a field of mosquitoes and covering the baby. We would have loved even seeing her coming with a shawl and covering this baby while she's maneuvering through that jungle. With that, I'll summarize. Good flow, good opening, good use of gestures, improve on the gestures, and finally, resonate with us, bring us up to speed on how you yourself took the courage to try again tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all celebrate Marian's life, which is a life which we celebrate in chaos. Thank you. Back to you, contest chair.
Gracias. 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballots. I see, Anthony, you're in the room. Kindly unmute yourself and pin the timekeeper.
I can see the timer, so I'm good to go.
Great. Just to test your mic a little bit more and to warm up your vocals, do say, I got the power.
I got the power.
Got it. Contestant 3, Anthony Wangondu. Anthony Wangondu.
Thank you, Andrea, for this really gut-wrenching and yet heartwarming story. Your courageous mother, Marion, starting with the story of her traumatic 1945 Cape episode, where she was pummeled almost to an inch of her life, and then having to learn to speak, to walk, and even to dance, is a really, really inspiring story. And then again, watching her husband die and her child being born almost at the same time, and then having to travel all the way to the border of the Congo, surrounded by strangers. I mean, this story is a true story of courage, and I really want to thank you for sharing it with us. So what are some of the strong points that I pulled out of your narrative? The first one is that you really have a skill for storytelling. You even told us to close our eyes and imagine the scene. And there we were, just seeing those soldiers, and then we're seeing your mother tramping the grounds, seeking refuge. I also love the use of dialogue because it really brought the scenes to life as the soldiers shouted at your mother, especially at the beginning of your story. And you also powerfully used power in your vocals, and your voice could really go up to emphasize how the soldiers were like. And also the pose, allowing us to take in what it is your story was about. Some areas I think that we could work on, that we could improve. Similar to myself, and therefore I pick this up whenever I listen to another storyteller, is that as a storyteller, you want to pack in as much detail into your story as you can. And I think I found that you put in so much detail into especially your 3 stories. The first one about being in the Congo, the second one in the Cape, and then of course the third one about how you have been inspired by your mother's story. And this sort of led to you going a little bit over time. So what I can advise there is to sort of watch the clock, reduce the content, and in your writing, look for those powerful phrases that we're looking for. And also in the use of your vocals, I think in addition to being powerful in the use of poses, there is also a change of pace that could help. And also the use of either low pitch or high pitch just to add drama to your story. So I would like to sum it up by saying, storytelling is powerful, dialogue is powerful, the use of vocals is beautiful, even though there are some areas that you could grow in that. And also, let's reduce the content so that the story fits in within the time slot that it has been given. Andrea, keep speaking with that small voice. Keep showing your brand of courage. Madam Contest Chair.
Gracias. We shall now observe 2 minutes of silence for the judges to mark their ballots and perform the final tally. Forward the ballots to the head ballot counter. Kindly keep an eye on the time and alert me when the 2 minutes is up.
Contest Chair, 2 minutes are up.
Thank you, Chief Timer. Ladies and gentlemen, please let us give our contestants a big round of applause for the courage and for the excellent presentations. But please keep your videos off. Thank you very much. Thank you. Contestants, please turn on your videos. You're the only one, and myself, we should be looking at right now. The SAA will spotlight all of us so that we can have a conversation together. I'll start with you, Grace, even as we wait for SAA to do the needful. I'll follow the same order that you all presented. Grace, congratulations. I know your story, how you just have been trying to get to this far in contest, and here you are, division level. Look at you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Tell us, what did it take? Because there are many of us who want to take part in contests, but we shy away, especially after you don't make it the first round. In future, you don't want to show up. What would you tell somebody like me who shies off from failing a second time?
First, I would encourage you to keep trying. Contests, for me, I find them as a fun way to grow your skills. And I believe since the first time I tried evaluation contests, I've grown in leaps and bounds. And I remember when we did our coaching session with DTM Japheth, there were things that I actually learned from him at least a few days to the contests. So I encourage you to keep on trying. You always learn, and take it easy. Don't stress too much as you'd like to stress. Please don't.
Great. Thank you. Yeah, don't stress. Sometimes we overthink it, don't we?
We do.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. If we have time, we will talk to you a little bit more I know we'll do the certificates of participation at the end, unless the SA has changed their mind, but we are doing that at the end after I've getting to interact. But there you are. Thank you very much, Grace, for today, for that sharing of your story, how you got here, and we hope that you will take it ahead and keep contesting. Thank you very much. Let's get to know Patricia a little bit more. Patricia.
Yeah.
It's lovely to see you, Patricia. This is my first time to meet you. Which club are you from, Patricia, by the way?
Meru Toastmasters.
Meru Toastmasters.
Yeah.
Good to meet you, and thank you for your presentation today.
Good to meet you.
You said, Patricia, that networking is one of the things that interest you.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, on behalf of introverts, clearly not me, I'm not one of them, how does one network when you're an introvert? Because they tend to shy away from talking to too many people, or their bandwidth just ends very quickly and they need to recharge almost immediately. How can they go about networking? I think you're having a problem
First
with
of
your
all,
network.
I just have to say I don't resonate with introverts. I am quite an extrovert myself. So, but what I can say is joining, such platforms as Toastmasters will definitely break their ice. Who, me? Okay, can you hear me?
We can. Yes.
All right.
But I can hear you. You're frozen, but I can hear you.
You can?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I was saying introvert. Oh, I'm frozen. Okay, fine. Let me project my voice then. I was just saying I don't resonate much with introverts because I'm joining such platforms as Toastmasters will really help you break that ice with people and not just taking the back seat, but being actively present. This kind of things that will make you definitely end up networking. And for me, why I said networking, because I basically used to do, or I rather still do networking as my core business. That is my bread and butter. That is what brings the bacon home. So yeah.
Wow.
That's all.
Super. Thanks very much, Patricia. That was really good. So if you're an introvert and you're in the room right now and you're wondering, how do you get to network? You can talk to Patricia. She can give you tips. But first and foremost, remain active in Toastmasters. And if you're not a member yet, what are you waiting for? Please let us share Patricia's certificate of participation. Thank you, Patricia, for showing up and representing Meru. Congratulations. All right, now let us get to know Anthony. Anthony Wangondu, how are you this morning?
I'm very well, thank you, Mwihaki.
And my club treasurer, who loves to play golf. This gentleman is amazing. He is a member of 3 clubs and also plays golf. I don't know how you managed to do that. Can you tell us a little bit more how you managed to be a member of 3 clubs and you're active? I know you're the president of Thika, you're the treasurer of Mtandao, you are a member of SEMA, and you're a golfer who loves traveling. Like, seriously, do you have more than 365 days a year?
Well, it keeps me out of trouble. Have you had me in trouble the whole of this year?
Still young.
Actually, I think one of my biggest weaknesses is I try to do too many things. I keep too busy. But I do enjoy it. So during the week, I know that on Wednesday is my club meeting. So I'm in Thika on the 2nd and 4th. I'm in SEMA on the 1st and 3rd. And then Mtandao on the Tuesday night as well as a Saturday evening. I only play golf on Sundays. So really, it's not such a big thing anymore. And the rest of the time, I'm working or hanging out with the girls. So, and there's some other things I'd like to do, but now I've run out of time.
All right, absolutely. Because I do know you also you used to go to church. I hope you still do. You're a professional executive. You're a family man, as you have said. But I'm glad that you have managed to find your balance. Thank you for your participation today. I know your certificate is ready, representing Tandao and representing Area 15. Thank you very much. Well done. Thank you. Before I see whether I need to interact with you contestants further, I ask the SAA to let me know if the Chief Judge is back in the room.
Not yet. Kindly proceed.
Not yet, not yet. Okay, great. I will continue with you, Anthony, since you're right there.
Okay.
Of the many roles that you have taken part in Toastmasters, I know you were also the district director. When were you the district director for District 114?
2021, 2022.
Tell us about that as your experience. How did that go? The nuances. Who knows? There might be the future district director could be in this room. So what should they anticipate?
I think everyone should aspire to be district director, in my honest opinion, because it teaches you many things. First and foremost, you get the feeling of either accomplishment or frustration that a chief executive officer would. You have no influence on the clubs run themselves. You have no influence on club officials. They do what they want. You can try and inspire the area directors, but they don't have time for you. You can sort of almost bribe the division directors, and really they listen to you, but might not do what you want. So getting your message, getting the urgency from yourself, from inside you to the club member is a skill I think everybody needs to learn. And that way, we'll be building leaders for Africa. I'm very passionate about having proper leaders for our continent, because we're going to be the next big thing. And Toastmasters gives us that platform. Okay, I'm going off track, aren't I now?
True. Wow, thanks very much. Wow, we all need to remember that. Thank you very much. Let's get to hear a little bit more from Grace. And SAA, kindly keep an eye and alert me once, just interrupt and alert me that the Chief Judge is back in the room with the team. Okay, I think I should be handing over to Ken Agutu. But let's just hear a quick one from Grace. Grace loves dancing. Tell us, what do you like dancing to?
Oh, I love dancing to all kinds of music. I find music has a way to get into my soul, and I'm able to express my emotions as much as I can. So, but don't ask me to dance in public, please. I dance in the comfort of my house, and I really enjoy music. It just has a way to evoke your emotions and make your body just move.
All right, that's true. We will take you up on that. I know Anthony likes dancing. Tikon is coming. All right, thank you very much, contestants. I had forgotten that at this stage I should be handing over to the Masters of Ceremony. Over to you, Ken Agutu.
Hands together for Toastmaster Maggie Wadiru. Well, that session, listen to those evaluators on the stage, and that's one of the things I just don't feel comfortable doing in that contest. So it takes a very brave person to stand there and listen to someone speaking and then give their evaluation at the end. Yeah, that and Toastmasters, those are the things I don't aspire to do. That, back to the contest. Toastmasters and guests, many of you have never heard of Gavel clubs. Let me tell you something about Gavel clubs. A Gavel club in Toastmasters is a specialized club designed for individuals under the age of 18, or individuals in an educational environment such as schools, colleges, or youth organizations. Gavo clubs operate similarly to regular Toastmasters clubs, but they cater specifically to young members who are interested in improving their communication and leadership skills. There is one Gavo club in Nairobi. I've had the honor of associating with them, of speaking at that club, of training the EXCO members. And I just want to talk about it a little bit. It's called the Haven of Peace. And many of you may know that Haven of Peace in Swahili is Dar es Salaam. No relation. But the Haven of Peace Gavo Club, which is a one-year-old club now, boasts 35 active members, 35. They meet physically twice a month, and it brings together individuals between the ages of 8 and 18 and are part of the Acceleration Christian Education Program, ACE or ACE. ACE integrates biblical scripture into all its subjects and enhances the children's education. The Gavo Club operates under the Haven of Peace Home Academy. This afternoon or this morning, we have the pleasure of hosting one of the members of that Gavo Club. This member is Patrick Muhunyu. I've had the pleasure of listening to Patrick Muhunyu speak in physical meetings, both in Nakuru and Thika, and online. And today, I'm just privileged to introduce him to this meeting. Patrick, who is 11 years old and is currently in grade 6, is going to present a speech entitled Working on Your Greatness. Patrick is passionate about sports, especially football. He enjoys traveling and has a keen interest in public speaking. Let's give a warm welcome this morning to Patrick Muhunyu as he shares his insights with us. Patrick Muhunyu, working on your greatness, Patrick Muhunyu.
We all have this amazing ability to draw in from within ourselves to create greatness and happiness in our own lives. It's like having a treasure chest full of endless possibilities waiting to be unlocked. I would like to remind us that greatness is within reach. Today, I want to talk about the power and energy that lies within each of us, and I'll share this in 3 points. First, imagine greatness. Secondly, cultivate curiosity. And thirdly, embrace your uniqueness. On to my first point, imagine greatness. Imagine greatness as a giant football field where all players in the game of life. Now let's picture the legendary Leo Messi, the soccer superstar. He practices tirelessly, hones his skills, and never gives up. During a game, he dribbles past defenders, and when he scores a goal, the whole stadium lights up with joy. Just like Messi, each one of us can draw power from within ourselves, score goals in our own lives. We can tap into our inner strength, practice our talents, and persevere through challenges. Like joy spreading in the stadiums, our achievements can bring happiness not only to ourselves, but to those around us. So just like Messi draws power from his passion for football, let's tap into our passions, work hard, and score our own goals of greatness in the game of life. This makes my imagination go wild. I can also be great, and you can be too. And have you ever imagined greatness for yourself? On to my second point, cultivate curiosity. Picture curiosity as a bright flashlight, guiding us through the dark and helping us explore about the world and learn about the world around us. Children are always curious and we ask a lot of questions, and in the process, we learn more. Are you curious? And what questions have you asked for yourself today? Cultivating curiosity is not just beneficial for children, it is a lifelong skill that can greatly enhance the lives of adults as well. By being curious, you open yourself to continuous and learning to improve your ability to solve problems as you explore different perspectives. These are the elements of greatness. By embracing curiosity as a lifelong mindset, all of us can unlock our full potential and lead more fulfilling and successful lives. On to my third point, embracing your uniqueness. Imagine greatness as a colorful palette, and each of us holds a unique paintbrush dipped in our own strengths. For me, that strength is in football and public speaking. Using my talent of football, my position is a central attacking midfielder, which means I can pass the ball and shoot to score at the same time. This is driven by my passion. I like football because it is fun and competitive. As a midfielder, I have just enough pressure, but with the freedom to run around, but I also have to be responsible to ensure my team scores goals. And on the other hand is my love for public speaking, which has given me so much confidence. Before participating in Toastmasters, I was shy and I didn't even know how to introduce myself. But I'm not afraid to go outside and I can speak for myself. And through the Gawel Club, I sharpen my skills like a craftsman, honing their tools, and each meeting is like a workshop where I refine my abilities, receiving feedback that help me improve my masterpiece of public speaking. Ladies and gentlemen, what makes you unique? Embracing what makes you unique and working hard at it will help you bring out their greatness. In conclusion, I seek that each of you inspire your children or the children around, allow them and allow yourselves to seek greatness by imagining greatness, cultivating curiosity, and embracing your uniqueness. This is my world and my uniqueness, and you can create yours today. In the words of one of my aunts, never do nothing. That is, never let a day go by when you do nothing, for it is in the doing that you bring the greatness within. My name is Patrick from Haven of East Gawel Club. Thank you for listening to my speech.
Ooh. Well done, well done. Let's use the emojis, the reaction emojis to appreciate Patrick Muhunyo. Well done, well done, well done. You overdid yourself. That was a speech that should have been part of this contest. Wow, wow, wow. Thank you very much. You did not disappoint, Patrick. And let's just have your camera on because I'd like to spend a few minutes just getting to know a little bit more about you and what you do. Hello, Patrick. You're muted?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, good to see you here and welcome to this stage. I'm sure you've done a lot of preparation for this, and just tell me something about how much practice have you put into this?
I have done a lot of practice for me. It has taken me a minute. There was a few things that happened here and there, but I got it done in the end. So that's all that matters.
I know. Tell me about it. Yeah. Okay. There's something you said about being in a team, playing in a team. And apart from football, what position would you usually want to play in a team? So let's say at school, are you the leader? Are you a backbencher? Are you a listener? Are you a supporter?
I'm the leader, even when it comes to anything. If someone knows me, they're going to vouch for me to do something. I am normally the leader, and I accept that role. I accept that I can also lead people, that I can do everything. And yeah, being a leader is always great. For people who are scared to be leaders, just be a backbencher that just does a bit. Just do little by little, and then at the end, you'll just become a leader.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what inspired you to choose this topic, working on your greatness?
Working on my greatness was inspiring me because I really wanted to talk about how this can affect everyone, how I can help people's lives by everything. Like working on your greatness was a thing that wanted me to get inspired. I actually had a different topic, but I was like, I actually like this one because it can also help others learn, not just myself, but others as well. So yeah.
Okay. How do you define greatness, Patrick? You talk about greatness, and I think it's something that young people really think about. So how do you define greatness, especially from your perspective as a young individual?
Greatness, in my perspective, is like just showing who you are first. Like I said, embracing your uniqueness. You can't be great before you show yourself to the world, before you show yourself to whoever is there, before you show yourself to everyone, really. Because every single time you're like, who is this person? Yet if you're not embracing yourself, how will you get great? So it is always like you have to embrace yourself, and after that, now you can start building towards all of this, and then you can be great like everyone. And also, being great is just
Tell me a little bit more about
mindset.
embracing yourself. What exactly?
Yeah, being great is just a mindset. And no one has really set a goal of what being great is. Like no one has said being great is being this, being great is being this. It is your vision of what being great is. So it's not just some person said this is being great. It's you.
So it's not about what people think about you.
Yes. So when you say the definition of greatness, it's just you thinking what is the definition. Because there's never an answer to that.
Okay, all right. Oh, that's new. I think I need to think about that a little bit more. But now tell me, could you tell us about someone who has been a role model or inspiration for you in your journey towards greatness?
Yeah. So, okay. So firstly, for Toastmasters, I was just in my bedroom, and I remember my mom coming to tell me, "Do you want to join a meeting?" At that time, I didn't know what it was. I was just there, so I was like, "Okay." And then I learned that this was like a public speaking that it could actually help me. Then when I actually entered a Gavel club, it was like it did not feel weird to me. Like Toastmasters has actually helped me a lot during these timelines. I know people have seen me in Nakuru and in Flamingo Online, in Thika, in Juja, if you've ever been there. But all that matters is we are growing every day and that we are learning something every day.
Now, you've talked about your mom. Would you like to tell us who that is for those who don't know who your mom is?
My mom is Gladys Muhunyo.
Toastmaster mom. Toastmaster mom. So she's been an inspiration to you, and that's really, really, really nice. Okay. Just before we come to an end of this session, what do you hope that the audience is able to take away from your speech today, especially the young members who may be inspired by your story?
Wait, I didn't hear.
Yeah. So what do you hope that the audience takes away from your speech today, especially if there are any young members here who may be inspired by your story, but still there are those of us, like you rightfully said, who would like to influence other young members. So what do you hope that we can take away from the speech today?
Really is just keep working on yourself. I was reading something and it said never strengthen your weakness because it can create more weaknesses. But if you strengthen your strengths, that can help you challenge more of those weaknesses. And also, it's just a key takeaway that just never let yourself down. Never let anyone bring you down. Like everyone who talks to me like, "Hi, how are you so good?" I'm like, I was done this. I was also in the same scenario. Like unapata, there are bullies and things, but like life goes on. You can't just stay there and think that life hasn't gone on. So just go through that, take that away. It's just the past. Go forward.
Okay, so thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. This morning, I'm sure we'll see you again, and I wish you the best in your Toastmasters and your academic journey.
Thank you very much.
Greatness. All right, thank you so much. And there's your certificate.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
Back to you, Gladys. Maggie?
No, I'm not Gladys because I'm not even a DTM. Thank you very much, Ken, for that session, and everyone for the evaluation session, which has now been adjourned. And now we segue straight into the humorous speech contest. If you need special shoes or something special that tickles you, now it's time to get it as you get yourself in the mood for the humorous speech contest. I now call the humorous speech contest to order. The online statement was, as was read at the beginning. I need to check if it needs to be read again. No, it does not. I wish to confirm that the contestants have all met the eligibility requirement to participate in the contest and certified this in writing. Their speaking order was picked on Thursday and is reflected in the agenda, but I will highlight it once again. To start our event of the humorous speech contest, I invite the Chief Judge, Stephen Minor, to explain the rules and judging criteria. Over to you, Chief Judge.
Am I audible?
Loud and clear. We just don't see your face.
You're not see my face.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just pick it on my side. There, we got it. Okay. For the humorous contest, let me start off by sharing that we have our judges. We had one who had to drop off. So we got a backup judge to just come in and fill the slot. So we still have our 7 judges who are all in good standing and have received their certificate of eligibility and ethics. What will we be looking at to select the winner who will go and represent us at the district level? We look at 3 key areas. The first key area carrying 55 points will be content. This will focus on areas such as speech development, effectiveness, speech value, and audience response. I'm only sharing at a high level because the judges have more intimate areas that they will be looking at around the content space. The second area carrying 30 points is delivery. This will be looking at physical presentation, voice usage, and the manner which highlights the speaker's real self. Last will be language carrying 15 points. It will focus on the thematic areas such as appropriateness of speech and correctness of the language used. I'll ask our timer, DTM Maximila Kitani, to explain the timing for this contest. Over to you, Toastmaster Maximila.
Chief Judge, it's Shepa Siganga timing this at this time.
Please proceed.
Humorous speeches shall be from 5 minutes to 7 minutes. A contestant will be disqualified if the speech is less than 4 minutes and 30 seconds or more than 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Timing begins with the contestant's first definite verbal or non-verbal communication to the audience. The green signal, allow me to share. The green signal will be shown at 5 minutes, at 6 minutes, and it will be up for 1 minute. At 6 minutes, I will raise the yellow card. It will be shown for 1 minute. And at 7 minutes, I will show the red card and it will remain displayed for 1 minute. In the event, no further signal will be shown to the candidate, to the contestant for the overtime. In the event of technical failure of the signal, a speaker is announced 30 seconds before being disqualified. Thank you, and back to you, Chief Judge.
Thank you so much, Elisheba, and thank you for taking up the first position in terms of timing in the second contest. Now, ladies and gentlemen, just like in the first session, I would like to share with you the guidelines that we use for managing a protest. One, it can only be raised by a voting judge or a contestant directly to the chief judge or contest chair. A protest can only be raised before the winners are announced. And the protests will be limited to 3 key areas. Number 1 is eligibility, 2, reference to another contestant speech, and lastly, originality of the content. Last but not least, the judge's decisions are confidential and final. Once again, I'll ask just 1 minute of silence after each contestant for the judges to mark their ballots. Back to you, our contest chair, Maggie.
Thank you, Chief Judge. I can see our contestant is already there warming up. I don't need to ask. We will observe 1 minute of silence to allow the judges to mark their ballots after each presentation. I ask that you all keep your videos off, except the speaker, and your mics off again, except the speaker. SAA, please ensure that you do not let people in while the contestant is presenting, but you can allow them in during the 1 minute of silence. Contestant 1 is Anthony Wangondu, who you can see over there. Anthony, confirm you have pinned this timer.
I can see the timer clearly.
Great stuff. To test your mic and to ensure you are feeling comfortable in your speaking position, say, I got the power.
I got the power.
Great stuff. Anthony Wangondu, where are we? Where are we? Anthony Wangondu.
Men can read maps and don't ask for directions. Madam Contest Chair, my fellow Toastmasters, I am sure you have heard this statement being bandied around as if it was the gospel truth. I beg to differ. When I was 17, our high school hiking club decided to take a 3-day march to the far side of the Ngong Hills. We were led by our Swahili teacher, the short, scrawny Mr. Githinji, who had possession of the map, and he had the compass safely in his jacket pocket. On the 3rd day, it became apparent that we could be lost. But Mr. Githinji would not let us anywhere near the map or even to touch his prized compass. So as we marched angrily behind him, we came across a Masai Manyata. We broke ranks, ran in and found this wizened old Masai Morani sunning himself in the sun. And we asked him that most important question. Where are we? Tuko wapi? To our dismay, the man spoke nary a word of Swahili, and we had to reluctantly follow the direction that he vaguely pointed us towards. As we marched out dejectedly, we had some boys herding huge herds of cows calling out to us, "Habari, hello." English? In the middle of the Maasai wastelands? We were beside them in the flash, and they gave us precise directions to where the dispensary, the one with the big water tank and the tall borehole tower, by the way, that was our pickup point, where we would find it. Ladies and gentlemen, that water, covered as it were with a layer of green algae, was the sweetest I've ever tasted. Men can read maps and don't ask for directions? The jury is out on that one. Fast forward, I'm traveling to Johannesburg, South Africa on a work trip. And so I go online, I book my hotel, and I decide this time I want to get a self-drive car hire. As an added layer of insurance, I ask for one that has Global Positioning System, GPS. So I land at the Oliver Tambo International just after midnight, saunter over to the car hire desk, and I discover that they only have one car remaining. And yes, you guessed it, it had no GPS. And so I did the manly thing. I studied the map behind the counter quite intently, plotted out my route, got into the car, and promptly got lost. As the neighborhoods became more and more unsavory, and you know what they say about Johannesburg, the capital of? Anyway, you said it, I didn't. I drove into the first petrol station that I could find and asked the man behind the pump that most important question. Where are we? Bruh, he replied. You go down this road, you count 7 robots, then you turn right, and you will find your hotel right there. Thank you, bruh. Only after 4 robots, that's what they call the traffic lights down there, there was no more road, there was no right turn, there was no hotel. I was in a panic. But at that point, I remembered Celtel, the precursor to our Airtel of today, had just upgraded those bulky Nokia phones we used to have with roaming services and a rudimentary form of GPS. I was at my hotel in under 5 minutes. Men don't ask. Men can read maps and don't ask for directions. Let's circle back to that one in a while. Now, you would think that by now I have learned my lesson. In December, my former boss invited me for a function at his rural home just past Muranga town. He even sent us some fancy cards with a map drawn to his house from Muranga town. Easy peasy. And so Saturday morning found me cruising down the Thika road, music blaring from my speakers, the sun shining softly on my face. I even decided to take a new route to Muranga town. And as I turned in, I thought to myself, let me invite Mrs. Google to the party. Only to find out I had forgotten to charge the phone the night before. And so I did the manly thing. I went towards that I thought was the right direction towards Muranga. And as I drove down unfamiliar country road after unfamiliar country road, I came to one of the most beautiful sights I've ever seen. an expanse of calm water, reflecting the green tea bushes that were grown all around it. Ladies and gentlemen, like Vasco da Gama of old, I had discovered Ndakaine Dam. And so, came out of my car, climbed down from my high horse, ate humble pie, and approached some young men on the side of the road and asked them that most important question: where are we? And after an exchange of some valuable Kenya shillings, they gave me precise directions to how to get to Murang'a town. From there, I was able to follow the map to my former boss's home. Let me not relate the loud guffaws of laughter that followed my explanation as to why I was so fashionably late for this function. Men can read maps and don't ask for directions. You tell that to the birds, Madam Contest Chair.
Thank you, Anthony. We shall observe 1 minute of silence to allow the judges to mark the ballots. Chief Timer, kindly alert me when the minute is over.
Contest Chair, 1 minute is up.
Gracias. Contestant 2, Joseph Wahome. Kindly unmute your mic and switch on your video. Voila, there you are. Is that your speaking position?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Let us warm up your vocals by testing your mic by saying, I got the power.
I got the power.
Great. Have you pinned the timer?
Yes, I can see the timer quite clearly.
Excellent. Joseph Wahome, Matatu Diaries, a Kenyan roller coaster. Matatu Diaries, a Kenyan roller coaster.
I'm sorry, Madam Chair, the timer seems to... Okay, she's back. Just a minute, please.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now I'm good to go once you're ready for me.
All right, let's do this. Joseph Wahome. Joseph Wahome, Matatu Diaries, a Kenyan roller coaster. Matatu Diaries, a Kenyan roller coaster. Joseph Wahome.
Do you know what a bumpy ride is? No. I'm not talking about your former romantic relationship. Come a little bit closer. Yeah, I'm talking to you, my fellow Toastmaster. August. I'm talking about that ride you had on a road filled with potholes, on board an over-speeding matatu or a bus with really terrible suspension. Those are the ones designed to break your back or inflict some blisters on your behind. Our uneven and cracked and unmarked, poorly drained roads are of most little help either, especially before the God-sent Chinaman intervened. But like the unweathering Kenyans we use them as they are. My story today begins on one of those typical chilly Nairobi mornings. There I was, shivering but studying very alert at a bustling matatu stage 20 kilometers away from the city. Though I was new in Nairobi, I was trying my best to blend in. I had observed that studying out will inevitably attract multiple conductors and pickpockets to you like moths to a lamp. If something were to happen in the kerfuffle that would typically ensue, your best scream would be like a drop in the ocean. Amidst the drowning symphony of blaring honking and loud music, do you expect even a rabbit-eared good Samaritan to hear you? No. So once you get noticed, you better get moving. At this time, I fish out a bird to board, and I make my move. In layman's language, making your move means a delicate but methodical and intentional dance with your feet and a couple of elbow nudges as you fight your way to the bus door. At the bus door, there I was fighting with this old grandma for a chance to board. This old grandma is strong. Okay, have it, Mama Karua. Have it. I won't fight with you. After another brief wrestle with my own size, so they say, I got a chance to board. Now, getting inside a matatu supplanted me into a sample cosmos of what our great nation is. Business anywhere, anyhow. On my left sat this dark, shabby man adorning a turban that had turned the matatu into his own sales department. No, Mr. Kenovia, that price is a hit under the belt. On my right sat a lady who was totally fixated on her phone. Oh, but my God, she looked like a walking neon sign. Her makeup was so heavily applied, it seems that she had mistaken her face for a coloring book. Well, nevertheless, I take my seat and await the start of our journey. Soon, our journey does begin. Little did I know that our driver was a man who fancied himself as the Kenyan answer to Lewis Hamilton and Michael Schumacher. He was navigating the potholes and weaving through traffic as if playing a blend of Dakar Rally and Need for Speed. I was gripping on those seat metal bars so hard that my fingers went numb. Oh, Dad, I think I should have walked those 20 kilometers to town instead of risking my life in the hands of this driver. At one point, the driver swerved so sharply to avoid hitting a dog. We are all sent momentarily airborne. When we landed, I noticed that one of my lady neighbor's dramatic false eyelashes had come unglued and was now hanging precariously on her right cheek, as if defying gravity and saying, "You and I are meant to be glued together for life." I coughed hard as I muffled the laugh that was building in my chest. On the other hand, I couldn't help notice our conductor, a true reincarnation of Tarzan he was. This tall, well-built, and heavily tattooed man was collecting fares while performing stunts that would rival Jackie Chan's acrobatics. It left me wondering, how the hell does this man keep his feet on the bus floor while the bus is shaking and rocking like a building under demolition? I didn't remember it was. My ghetto friends tell me that every matatu ride is a real life lesson. The key takeaway being that our sense of community as Kenyans extend even to our commutes, where you start your journey as strangers, but end as temporary soulmates due to the shared drive experience. I'm therefore grateful to the matatu drivers and our conductors, the unsung heroes who make our everyday a little bit more adventurous. And to you, my fellow passengers, thank you so much for the memories. And also thank you for occasionally lending me your shoulder or your thigh when the ride gets too bumpy. Somehow, I always land on someone's shoulder or thigh. I don't know how. I guess it's fate. Thank you, and back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, contestant Joe. We shall now observe 1 minute of silence to allow the judges to mark their ballots. Chief Timer, kindly alert me when the minute is up.
One minute is up, Chief.
Gracias. Contestant 3, Isaac Mwangi. Are you unmuted? Please unmute yourself. Take your
Yes, I am.
Take your speaking position. Let's test your vocals and your mic by saying, I got the power.
I got the power.
Great stuff. Isaac Mwangi, adjust. Adjust. Isaac Mwangi.
Friends, Toastmasters, and guests, if there was an award for confidence, I would have easily won in each and every category. It was on a fine, bright Saturday morning as I was heading to the supermarket for some supplies. And along the way, someone catches my attention. A young lady. And not just any lady. The most beautiful lady I had ever set my eyes on. In life, you're told to have vision and focus. Mine was as clear as a bell. In fact, so clear that I forgot about the supplies I was going to buy. With only a checked shirt, a pair of trousers, and some flip-flops, I decided to approach this young lady. And oh my, when I got to her, even before I could speak, I had to admire her. The exact opposite of my skin tone, fairly tall, and to add some toppings to dessert, wore a pair of spectacles. There is something that I find intriguing about spectacles. And as I introduced myself, these were my exact words. Hey, beautiful. Should I call you Lucky? Because if you are mine, I'll be lucky to have you. She turned, took off her glasses, evaluated me from head to toe, and bluntly said, I've never had that one before. There's always a first time for everything, right? I suppose so. Anyway, I was wondering, you are really pretty. Is it cool if I can grab your number? I don't usually give out my number. How about my Facebook page? But I'm not on Facebook. Come on. Then I guess we'll meet some other time. I'll see you around. And away she went, leaving me crushed, devastated. Oh my. And as I sat down, wallowing in my thoughts, I asked the universe, why? Why couldn't this just work out? She was bright, I am dark. Shouldn't opposites attract? Slowly, I began rising. I held my head high and I said, you know what? It's her loss. How can she reject this? A short king who is dark and handsome, more handsome than Idris Elba. We'll see. We'll meet again, and I'm sure she'll change her mind. Fast forward, it's on a Sunday, and I'm taking my usual strolls around the estate. Guess who I bump into? The lucky girl. Or should I say, my lucky girl. This time round, I guess fate will bring us together. Fate will change a few things. I was in my best attire. Being on a Sunday, we Kenyans like to say Sunday best. And I was in a suit, the best suit, the only suit I could find in my wardrobe. With my head held high, I decided to approach her the second time. This time, changing and twisting my words a little bit. I approached her and said, hey, excuse me. Wow, fancy meeting you again. She said, oh, hi, I do remember you. I see. Looking sharp tonight. Well, thank you. You know, being sharp, looking smart is a weakness of mine. She said, can't say the same about last time. Enough about the past. Today, it's the present. Anyway, in other news, you are really pretty. Is it cool if I can get your number and your name? Sure, why not? And as they took my phone and gave it to her, she dialed her number, and oh my, I was filled with excitement. My heart was rushing. I skipped a bit. I did not show it though, because I need to keep my swagger. But when she finished, she said, the name's Ariana. Don't call me Lucky again. I feel already lucky. We met at my favorite cafe, talked and talked, had the deepest of conversations. It was as if we met 10 years ago. And from that day on, my love story began. Does it continue, you ask? Guess you'll have to find out. Feel free to subscribe at my blog at isaacslovestory.com. Use the hashtag the Bluetooth device paired successfully. In life, you have to learn to adjust. Because if you don't, you'll stay constant. You'll stay exactly where you are. When I was growing up, I used to be terrible in maths. In fact, I could only cram one formula. So when the question was twisted, I didn't know what else to do. So it's important to be flexible, to turn, to adjust to situations. As Tommy Robbins once said, stay committed to your decisions, but stay flexible to your approach. So take things differently when they don't work out the way you want them to. And when you do, you will ignite the power within you. Thank you, and back to you, Contest Chair.
Thank you, Contest Ballottant number 3, Isaac. We shall now observe 2 minutes of silence to allow the judges to mark their ballots, collate and send to the ballot counter, to the head ballot counter. Thank you. Please alert me when the 2 minutes is up.
The 2 minutes are up, Contest Chair.
Gracias. Thanks very much. I now ask our contestants to please turn on their videos. Chief Judge, you can do whatever you need to do with your judges. It's up to you. Where are you, contestants? Thanks very much for showing up. I see you, Joseph. I see you, Anthony. Where is Isaac? Isaac, please turn on your video. We need to see you. Well done.
Yes. All right.
This one was a male affair. Are women shying away from humorous speech? Maybe I will try it in 5 years' time when I will have, I don't know what I will have at that point. Maybe more gray hair and more thick skin. That even if people don't laugh, so what? Me, I'm laughing. Thank you for showing up today, gentlemen. We enjoyed those speeches. If anybody did not laugh, it's their choice. We cannot do anything about that. We need to get to know you a little bit more. I will keep this short and succinct because I did steal into the time earlier. I will start with the first speaker, Anthony, who did his presentation about where are we. I personally think GPSs were designed by men for men. Don't you think?
Well, this whole concept about asking for directions and reading maps is a very complex thing. If you ask a lady for directions and you ask a man for directions to exactly the same place, you will get 2 completely different answers, but they will both get you to your destination.
That's debatable, but okay. Tell us a little bit more about that as we even present your certificate.
So like in the story that I was giving, when I was in SA in the middle of the night, and I asked this guy to give me directions. He was focused on objects, you know, the robots and things like that. And I think he got lost in the story.
That's true. I can imagine.
If I'd asked a lady, she probably would have told me something to the effect of, you will see this on the side of the road and you will notice that, so that you can keep track of your landmarks. And sometimes for guys, it's confusing when you get directions from a lady, because you never see those things that they see.
All right, we'll pick this up another day. Thanks very much for your participation today, Anthony. Twice this morning. Thank you very much for representing Mtandao and for representing Area 15.
You're welcome.
We can get to hear from our matatu driver, or not, Joe Wahome.
Yes.
Thank you for that presentation. I always allude to the fact that if you have not ridden a matatu in Kenya, I do not know what you're waiting for. If you're a foreigner, that is the one thing you must try. And there is something I read or I heard Mark Brown, who was the 1995 public speaking champion, say that humor is tragedy plus time. Because if you think about the definition of humor, it's the tendency to experience or provoke laughter. You share your experiences that provoke laughter. But what if you tell a story and then nobody gets it? What do I do?
Like you started by saying, if somebody didn't laugh, well, it's either two things. You grow a thicker skin, so that doesn't affect you, or you figure a way to make it funnier or relatable, so to say. And given that I knew I'm talking to a largely Kenyan populace, right? People who, even if they haven't ridden a matatu, have seen one at the least. Or if you're not from Kenya, you have at least heard of it. I'll try to give you an example and an experience of how it feels like, or what you might experience if you actually rode one, and also trying to relate with my fellow Kenyans who have actually ridden a matatu, and try to take you back to those experiences that you are left you wondering, how did that guy actually do that, right? So it's all about trying to relate with people or presenting something that might invoke some curiosity in somebody.
I like that. Thank you. Thanks very much. Thank you for participating today. Your certificate is presented here. Thank you for representing your club, your area, and we look forward to hearing you speak again in future. Asante sana. And now let us get to hear from our almost jilted lover, Isaac Mwangi. Hi, Isaac.
Hi.
Hi, Isaac. That was an interesting speech about, what do we call it in Kenya? Tuning. I don't know what the young people call it these days, but kukatia katia. Anyway, you love dancing, reading, hiking, socializing. And then you said we should read your blog. Do you really have a blog?
Yes, I do, but it's not working at the moment.
We were going to ask to go and read it because we do need to hear this story, how it goes. But tell us about your reading. What do you love reading?
I do love reading action, thriller. That's my genre. That's what I can really read up to the whole day. Inspirational, I don't know so much about that. I'm not very sure. But what really interests me is those kind of stories, you know, the ones of mafias. If you have ever seen a movie called The Godfather, I love those kind of things. I love those kind of things.
Interesting. Okay. I think you and Anthony, I know Anthony loves reading. I don't know what he likes reading, but it's always good when I see people love reading. I always allude to the fact that people should be sharing books, whether you swap books or at least you tell each other what topics to read or which books you have read that inspire you. Do also share with us your reading list later if there's time. But for now, thank you for participating. We look forward to hearing from you speak again.
Thank you.
Thank you, contestants. And thank you, Isaac. Thank you, everyone. Great stuff. And now I have the honor of leading you to the next session by introducing our next Master of Ceremony. I always find English very strange. Why isn't it a mistress of ceremonies? I don't know. I'll never know. Our next person who is leading us through the next session is Caro Moisani. Caro Moisani is the Vice President for Public Relations of Flamingo Toastmasters. She has been in Toastmasters for 2 years. I love the fact that when you see Flamingo being advertised, Caro is always, there's some passion in the way you develop those flyers. Keep it up, Caro, and we look forward to engaging with Flamingo Toastmasters. Caro is a personal assistant. She is also an Alumni Association chair of a community volunteer organization. She's a freelance writer. And one thing, if you want to irk Caro, is if you have no courtesy, just basic courtesy. You don't say thank you, you don't say please, you don't say excuse me, you think the world just revolves around you. Caro can deal with that. But we will get to hear from her today as she leads through the next session. And I invite you all to welcome Caro to the podium, virtual podium. Over to you, Caro.
Thank you, Contest Chair. And today we are going to have the pleasure of a poetic performance by a fellow Toastmaster who is within our circle. And with pleasure, I would like to introduce our poet for today, who is Beverly Nambozo. Beverly is a courageous, confident, and creative lady, and she uses these gifts to write, to speak, and to lead all over the world. Beverly is a distinguished Toastmaster and the founder of Sauti ya Toastmasters magazine, East Africa's district newsletter. This wonderful lady will step up today and give us a fantastic creative performance today. And at this moment, I'd like to welcome Beverly to come in to give us her performance. Welcome, Beverly.
Thank you, Carol. Good morning, Division D. It's wonderful to be here. I'm a morning person. By the time this session started, I had completed my exercise, gone through my adrenaline junkie energy givers. I am ready for this. Congratulations to all the contestants. We know, having been Toastmasters for a while, that effective communication is relevant when you conceive the words and the body language, that words contribute only to 7% of effective communication. It's the eyes, the ears, the mouth, the touch, everything else comprises communication. The power of the words is so important, especially when it leads to an honest space where your body is speaking in the same way. William Shakespeare said it best in his play Hamlet. He said, "My words fly up, my thoughts remain below. Words without thoughts never to heaven go." And my poem is titled, "It's the words that you speak with your eyes." It's the words that you speak with your eyes. Those are the words that I hear, the words that make me draw my breath as you watch my dimples bob in and out. You make me smile because of the words that you speak with your eyes. It's the words that you speak with your ears. Those are the words that I hear when your eyebrows rise as I tell you of my anxieties, and your shoulders droop as you carry my sadness. And when you sing with me, sharing my gladness, it's those words that you speak with your ears. Those are the words that I hear. And it's the words that you speak with your touch. So gentle. It feels like the air is so strong that it feels you're carrying my entire world. It's those words that you speak with your touch. Those are the words that I hear. And when you tell me that you care, you've already told me twice. with your eyes, with your ears, and with your touch. And then there's the other person, the one who tells you that they loathe you. And they dare ask, when? Beverly, when did I tell you that I hate you, that I detest you, that I loathe you, that you make me cringe? And I answer, the day I reached out my hand to you and you slapped it out of the way. Do you remember that day? You told me you loathed me. And today I'm going to tell you that you have expired. Your face used to shine like glitter. Now it's like salt. Why? Because the words you told me when I reached out to you and you slapped me, you told me you loathed me. You shook my hand and it felt soft, but now it's like rotten bananas. You used to be so handsome, so divine. Your head is like a cabbage now. Your swagger used to make me swoon. Do you know what? Now a plastic fork has more swag. Your beard, your beard used to sway like jazz music. Now it pricks like cactus. Our friendship was built on a tower. Remember those days? But when you reached out to me and spoke and told me that I made you cringe, now our friendship is as weak as a used toothpick. You asked me when. When did I do those things? When I reached out to you and you slapped my hand out of the way. Remember, it's the words that you speak with your eyes. Those are the words I hear first. It's the words that you speak with your ears. Those are the words we hear first. The words that you speak with your touch, those are the words we will never forget. Thank you, Contest Chair.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Beverly. Thank you so much for that beautiful. I mean, I could pick up such great, rich grammar and words, and your energy just added it all in, and to make it a great understanding on the power of words. Thank you so much, Beverly. And at this point, I'd like you to just switch on your video so we could just get to know more about you in a very brief time. And one of the things I would like to first ask you, you started by mentioning your morning routine, and it really caught my attention that you had done a couple of things before you even stepped to the podium today to present to us. And I'd just like you to mention to us what is your basic morning routine, how it looks like from the time you wake up before you start your day.
All right, I'm actually writing a book about this, and it's coming out this year, how everything changed when I started waking up at 3 a.m. And this was during the lockdown. I had a reawakening. Everyone goes through that. Mine was during the lockdown. So much changed. That was the time when I actually completed 14 speeches to attain my Distinguished Toastmaster Award, because I woke up at 3 a.m. and changed everything about the way I think, because I thought something is wrong with my life. There is something, a darkness, which keeps cropping up every time I reach a light. So I wake up at 3 a.m. still, meditate deeply, pray, and then I read. I read a lot. I have a list of books. Sometimes I'm reading 3 at a time. I also write a lot. My morning routine comprises me planning my day, my life, but also thinking deeply about who I am, self-reflection, where I want to go. That's why I'm not afraid to say no, because it doesn't fit in with my journey. I say yes when I mean it. And when I train, when I speak to people, every word is deeply intentional. I could go on. I'm going to stop there. And then, of course, waking up the children, breakfast and exercise, depending on what it is. But 3 a.m., the first 2 hours are so powerful for me and dictates the day. Yeah.
Wow, amazing. That's quite a great challenge. And it's nice that you got an inspiration and you've seen all the results of that change of routine. That's really fantastic. And
Thank
so
you.
what inspires you to be who you are right now? Poet, being being a part of Toastmasters, what is it that inspired you to be in this kind of space?
It's because I know that my journey leads me somewhere, and every time I commit to a task, to joining a group is because it's leading me somewhere. It's highly improbable I'll join a group of bee farmers. What they do is commendable, but that's not in my journey. And that's what inspires me. Every day I know whatever I do, even if it's being quiet for an hour, reading a book, it's leading me to a journey. That may seem that I am perfect. Absolutely not. But even my imperfection is part of that journey.
That's fantastic. Thank you. And finally, I'd just like to ask if you've had a challenge in your life and is there a major challenge that just pops out that you remember you had it? Or is it there a current challenge that you had? And if possible, you can let us know how you overcame that challenge.
It's weight. I fluctuate with my weight up and down all the time. During the lockdown, I was able to lose 18 kilograms because I consumed 70% vegetables. 2 weeks ago, I started the 70% vegetables and I'm seeing the results. But that's because, again, I'm in a new spiritual awakening. So it's the weight. The thing with weight, it starts in the mind. It doesn't start from the plate. And I'm realizing that. So my mind has told me, be creative with your food. And I discovered there's so many ways to have vegetables and boiled egg that I could start my own vegetable restaurant right now. Yes, I'm glad I've overcome it by just understanding. Think, how can you make a plate creative without putting in red meat and donuts? And there's so many possibilities. Who knew?
Wow, fantastic. I hope your next book will be a recipe book for vegetarians. But do let us know once you get once you finish writing your book about waking up early and great routines. Please do share with us once it is ready.
Thank you.
And I'd just like to finally mention that Beverly is part of the Speaking Woman Toastmasters Club. So if you want to see more of her, you can always join into that club. But I believe we'll be seeing more of you in many more contests, conferences, and Toastmasters meetings. So thank you very much.
Actually, Bokoto, I'm a charter member of Bokoto Toastmasters Club and a great friend to Speaking Woman, a great, great friend to Speaking Woman.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. And that was
great.
Bye.
Enjoy the weekend. Bye.
You too. Thank you. And so right now, up next, there's your certificate of appreciation that has just been put up there on the screen.
Thanks.
And right now, I'd like to just take up to the next point of today's event. And I'd like to welcome the next person who is coming in as contest chair. And it is none other than Dan Odero, who I have had the pleasure of hearing speak. I think today he would have been part of the humorous contest speech if he was not a contest chair. But otherwise, I'd just like us to welcome the Toastmaster Dan Odero, and I'd love him in his many words to introduce himself, even as he takes on the next session of Table Topics contest. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster Dan.
Good morning, and thank you, Carol Musiani, doing a fantastic job at Flamingo. This is Dan Odero, signing up now, mid-morning. What a wonderful day to be at Division D Conference. 100 years, if you can see that one, 100 years Toastmasters is what we are celebrating this year. My name is Dan Odero. I am the immediate past president